What's going on, guys? Briar Rabbit here. Today I decided to take up a project that I've been meaning to tackle for quite a while. I have an old computer. I don't even know how old it is. It's got to be over 10 years old. That's just been kind of sitting around, and I decided I wanted to kind of refurbish this computer, see what I could do with it, whether it becomes a spare PC for in the office or just a media server or even just a file storage server. I'm not real sure yet. I kind of want to see what the capabilities of this thing are. But that's where I am. I don't even know what this thing can do. I don't know what processor it has. I don't know what graphics card it has. I have no idea what this thing can do. So I'm going to mess with this thing. We're going to try and put Windows 10 on it. We're going to clean it up a little bit. We're going to maybe install a better graphics card. I mean, the graphics card I've got, here, you got to see this thing. It's ridiculous. There it is. I don't know if you can really see it there. Let me try and focus a little better on it. There we go. All right, so that's the graphics card it has. As you can see, it doesn't even have a fan on it. There's dust all through this computer. There's the CPU fan. I don't know how good that thing's doing. There's my dog, Finnegan. Say hi, Finnegan. Okay, he's not going to say hi. So yeah, we're going to load Windows on this thing. We're going to clean it up. We're going to see what we can load. I'm going to try and get Destiny 2 running on this thing just for shits and giggles, but let's see what happens. Look at this thing. I can't even tell what's going on here. We got NVIDIA graphics, we got ATI graphics, we got a Windows Vista, and we got AMD Live. I don't even know what is in this thing. So I've gone ahead and loaded Windows 10 on this beast, and as you can see, we got an AMD Athlon processor. It's a dual-core processor running at 2.8 gigahertz. I don't know if this thing has hyper-threading. I would assume it would say it had hyper-threading if it was there. We also have 3 gigabytes of RAM. Yeah, that's 3 gigabytes of RAM. So I think playing any modern games is completely out without, like, seriously upgrading the system. Older games probably would work, but we're going to load them up anyway just to see what happens. One other thing, the graphics card. What do we got here? I'll bring that down into the picture. You can see it's a Radeon HD 4550. This thing doesn't even have active cooling. It's just got a passive cooling on it. So we're going to play around with this a little bit and see what happens. All right, this is kind of hilarious. The latest beta driver for this graphics card was released in 2013. Okay, so I ran into some problems right off the bat. The drivers for the graphics card wouldn't actually install because I installed a 64-bit version of Windows. So what I'm going to try and do is install this NVIDIA graphics card. This is I believe it's a 1030. Yeah, it's a GT 1030. And the nice thing about it is actually it's got HDMI. So it's an upgrade. I can actually output to HDMI using this graphics card. So we're going to try that instead. I've been installing the NVIDIA drivers now for, let's see here, about 30 minutes, right? And it's slower than I expected to be. Like, maybe I'm just used to modern computers with SSDs and my cat is now crawling all over the place. Anyhow, maybe I'm just used to faster computers at this point. This computer does have, you know, like a spinning disk drive and an old processor in it, but this seems slower than I expect it to. So we're going to have to investigate. Maybe the processor is thermal throttling because it's got old paste on it. It's definitely, I mean, this thing is neglected. So we're going to take a couple of looks at this thing. Well, I downloaded Ada 64. If you're not familiar with Ada, it's basically a way for you to, you know, see what's going on with your computer as far as temps and voltages and, you know, speeds go. But it seems like everything's okay. I've got a stress test running at 100%. And my CPU clocks, or my CPU core temps are 65 and 62, which is completely reasonable. And when I click over to the clocks here, you know, it's running at 2800, so that's 2.8 gigahertz, which is what I expect to see there. So I think we're going to have to install an SSD. Oh my God, the SSD makes a world of difference for this computer. Using the hard drive, the Schmitting disk drive that originally came with it, this computer was so slow running Windows 10. It was like unbearable. Installing Windows 10 onto the SSD, it took less than a half an hour. Loading the NVIDIA drivers for the new graphics card, much faster. Like everything. The general responsiveness of this computer is so much snappier with the SSD. It's crazy. So I went ahead and loaded some games to see what we could actually do. Now, I didn't expect this thing to run modern games. I just wanted to see what would happen if I did so. This is a 13-year-old computer. So it's not going to run modern stuff, right? Destiny 2, no way. Fortnite even. I tried Fortnite just because, it's known for running on like lower end hardware. No, it wouldn't even load it. It's only got 3 gigabytes of memory. The processor is just too slow. There's just no way this is going to happen. Now, older games, it ran great. StarCraft 2, I loaded up, it runs it fine. Warcraft 2, like that kind of stuff. Older games ran no problem on it, but I don't have a use case for that. It's just not something I'm interested in doing. If I want to run those older games, I can do it. There's plenty of solutions on modern hardware to do that, and I find it just frankly easier and simpler to do that than have something like this sitting around. The other thing I was kind of thinking of doing with this was to use it as like a media server or, some kind of file server. But the problem is it's got a really old Ethernet card kind of built onto the motherboard. It only runs at like 10 megabits per second, which is super slow by modern standards. And to load like the huge, files that I deal with on a daily basis for video recording and editing, it would just be frustrating to use it for that. So I'm not going to do that. It's just too slow. So I don't have a use case for this, but I do have some nostalgia for it. I don't want to just throw it in the trash. This was my main computer 13 years ago. When I got married, this was my kids' main computer. They played a ton of Minecraft. They did their homework. They did all sorts of school projects on it. There is some nostalgia there, so I don't want to just throw it away. So I think the best solution is to probably donate it to Goodwill, and hopefully somebody else can get some use out of this computer. It's not going to be playing, video games, but, for somebody who just needs something to do email or basic web browsing, it's going to be fine for that. With the SSD, it's snappy enough. The video card kind of, it renders, web pages fine, so it's plenty usable for that. So I think what I'm going to do is neaten it all back up, leave the SSD in it, leave the new graphics card in it, and just donate it to Goodwill. And hopefully somebody out there gets some use and enjoyment out of this 13-year-old computer, because for me, it's just taking up space. So I think that's going to do it. I think we're going to end this video here. It was fun to try and revive this old computer and see kind of the differences in this old hardware and modern hardware, and just to kind of revisit some memories with this old computer. But as far as just using it, I think we're done. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button if you liked the video. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you guys later.